a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
I'm Christina Kahn.
And I'm Leela Hilton.
And this is Burn Before Reading, the podcast about shiterature.
We're here to cover literary cringe and drama, as well as the books we loved when we were cringe ourselves.
Is that a new intro I hear? Oh my god, who are we?
New moon, new year, new intro, new Tina's hair.
Oh my god, I do have new hair. It's bright red right now. Don't ask. The box did not say bright red on it.
It does look a bit Ariel-y in this light, which is not a bad thing.
I feel you. I need to pink on top of it. I need to get more pink on top of the red. With us today is our friend Becca. Say hello to the listeners, Becca.
Hello, listeners.
I said friend, but Becca is also my roommate.
Surprise.
A surprise!
The call is coming from within the apartment.
It really is. Our internet is struggling.
I just took myself off the internet, and I don't think it's better, but...
Okay, well, just let me know if you have any troubles, and I'll do the same.
Becca, what has been cringing you out this week?
Oh, gosh. I feel like I always have a sad answer to give instead of a funny cringe answer to give, but I really thought about it all day, and I really couldn't think of anything other than I've been having some wicked nightmares this week.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. Brutal.
Brutal. And on a slightly lighter note, I have a ghost in my room, so I'm being haunted.
That's
which
so
is
light.
Still sad, but maybe a little less sad because it's not coming from inside my brain. He's a real ghost. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, and we have like confirmation. We like know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, and the somebody they know is the person that died. Yeah,
is the dead person.
Is the ghost.
Yeah.
So,
what up, ghost?
Yeah.
We love you.
What kind of like signs have you gotten like that you feel like there's a ghost in there? Aside from I know that your cat's like will not step foot in there, which is a good sign.
For sure. I mean, I didn't even take it seriously before. I felt so haunted that once I knew that there was a ghost, I was like, I knew it all along. Like it was confirmation. Not being able to sleep. The cat's acting crazy. He broke 2 of my candles spontaneously in the middle of the night. And whenever I did, I was either falling asleep at or waking up at 3:30, several times in a row. And so I thought maybe there was some significance to that time. And I've gotten advice on the matter. I've spoken to him sternly.
But we tried to treat him like
I've reached
third roommate,
I've treated him like my love. I've left him offerings, and he broke 1 candle exploded on my mantle above my head, above my bed, and little shards of glass rained down on my pillow. And then another time the candle fell off the mantle and shattered on the floor.
Thank God.
But I think our relationship is getting a little bit better, maybe. So I guess that's my cringe, that's
a solid cringe,
the nightmares.
babe.
Unless he's the one that's giving me these nightmares this week, in which case I'm really mad at him because they're really fucked up. Can I curse?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God,
they're really
You've
fucked
listened.
Up. Oh my God. Well,
this is Becca betraying she's never listened to the show before.
Yeah.
Not true. Listener, I'm just like you. I have listened. Not to all of them, but to some of them twice.
Me too. Wow, Lil Lily is on the weekly rotation.
Yep.
When I'm sad, I go straight to Lil Lily.
Talk about haunted, man.
Leela, what is cringing you out this week?
So really hard to follow such a dramatic cringe, but I'm super jealous. Not of the haunting, just of the cringe. I think my cringe is that the other day I'm recruiting for a lot of clinics in Michigan, which cringe. But like what was cringe about it was they were saying there's a candidate that lives, it's too far of a commute. I looked at her resume and it would probably be too far of a commute. And I was like, oh, is Lansing like kind of like a rural remote place though? Because, you know, sometimes if people live in like a more rural place, then they're just used to driving far. And she was like, that's the capital of our state. And I was like,
oh, that's a surprise one.
And
okay,
she took that personally, for sure.
that's a surprise one. Who knows about Michigan anyway?
not me, clearly.
Taylor Lautner, just saying. Taylor Lautner's from Michigan.
Oh, okay. Wow. Related. Yeah. But and also, so apparently the capital of Michigan is not Detroit.
Mm-mm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell from the financial neglect, I feel.
All right. Tina, what's been cringing you out this week?
Well, as y'all know, Sean and I are getting divorced, so that's like its own kind of cringe.
For sure.
That is not fun or giggly
Or
for
cute.
my podcast or cute. Yeah, it's not fun at all. It involves a lot of hard things, including paperwork. But what it does mean is that your girl is dating again. So just fucking buckle up. Buckle the fuck up for some Tinder first date fails on the show. I can't believe I've actually been back on the dating scene for almost a month now with no one. And by no one, I mean none of you listeners to tell about it. I can't believe I went back into the dating scene after a decade when Bird Before Reading was on break. That's not correct. I should have waited.
It couldn't wait.
I couldn't wait. I'm having a very good time. But I did go on this one date. Okay, so first of all, I forgot that if a guy doesn't put in his profile how tall he is, it's because he's 5'2". And I am not opposed to a short king.
Yeah.
However, where I am at in my life right now, I want a man who can handle me. I want a man with a firm hand. I want a man who can just handle a 210-pound, 5'9" bitch. Okay. And if you're over 6 feet, I just know that you can probably handle it. Okay, so I went on, but this guy was really cute. And so I'm forward and I asked if he wanted to get drinks at New York Deli, and he said yes. So we met at New York Deli. I was there waiting for them because I do the power move where I like to be already waiting for them. Also, I can't see, so I'm going to make them look for me, not vice versa.
Yeah.
Even though my hair color changes every couple of weeks.
Ramona Flowers.
I know, I'm not like other girls. The second he sat down, I could tell that he was 5'3" and like 130 pounds absolute maximum.
Oh,
like
boy.
he was a small man.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I'm really nice. I still gave him a chance, even though if you're a small man and you're connecting with a large bitch on dating apps, I just feel like you should say, this is my height. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, I'm nice. What if he's like really slick? I'll give him a chance. Okay. I've been in love with short boys before. Short kings.
And also just short boys, you know what I mean? Not all
I've been in love with one. I've been in love with one short man, and he is a king.
What about Joey?
Shout out to Joey.
Oh.
What the fuck, Leela? Okay, so this guy, I was willing to give him a chance. He sat down at the bar, and like one thing about me is, unless I'm repulsed, I will act interested. So my whole body at the bar was like facing him. I was like leaning in, tits forward, like full attention on him.
Oh, he was
And
like, she loves me.
He could not look me in the eye. We talked for 90 minutes to 2 hours. He could not make eye contact with me. Okay. We were at the bar. I was gazing directly into his soul, and he was looking deadly ahead at the liquor bottles.
Oh.
And we weren't talking so much as we were like exchanging stories, you know, like if I like asked him something, he would tell a story, and then that was like the end of it. And I would be like, oh, here's one of my stories. And
Yeah.
He did not look at me. And then I was like, well, it's time for me to go home. And we both stood up, and I was a head taller than him. And I was like, I'll message you. And then I walked away without even hugging him, which is crazy. I'm a hugger. And then before I walked home, it's like a 12-minute walk, 15-minute walk. And before I got home, I messaged him and I was like, thanks, but I'm not interested. So that's my first cringe. Hey, men. Hey, guys. Hey, anyone. when you're on a date, look at them.
Yeah. Attempt to converse. Like, do you think a lot of men just like don't know how to have conversations?
I think that there's all kinds of people, and I think that I do not know what this particular man thought he was doing. I do not know. My profile says I'm chatty, like I'm large, like I'm gonna be a problem. I'm gonna be in your face, you know?
Yeah.
So I do not know what this guy was thinking, but
Do you think he thought that you, like, do you think he wasn't into you? Like, he immediately was like, oh, I'm not into her, and then didn't know what
I don't
to
know
do?
why, because I look exactly like my profile. Becca's vetted the profile. I think that it's a very accurate profile that reflects realistically what I'm going to be like IRL.
That's true. You
From
do.
some angles, there's going to be cellulite.
Right.
From some angles, there's not going to be cellulite. That's who I am.
And you say how tall you are on yours?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Men are, I mean, Becca, like, you know, like, men are very, very funny about egg.
We can't see
Egg.
Becca. Our cat Egg is just taking up the whole screen with her beautiful dilute torty fur.
Our cat. Oh, that's our children, our shared
Mom and
children.
Dad. Oh my God, which one's which?
Well, we actually call ourselves
I'm
Nice
Dad.
Mommy and Mean Mommy. Which is which? You guess, Leela. Who's Nice Mommy and who's Mean Mommy?
Becca's nice, you're mean?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just-
I'm somehow nice mommy, but also dad. Yeah.
That's okay, Daddy.
In summary, please get ready for more dating fails. I'm really excited. I'm going on a date directly after this recording, and I cannot wait for it to be bad and funny. That would be good.
Yeah.
It would be fine if it was good, too.
Yeah, it would be cool if it was good. But
Be cool
bad
if
and
it was
funny is great for the plot.
Yeah, either way. Either way. I want to be right in the middle of like a really good hookup and then have a man say something absolutely batshit to me.
Yes.
And then finish the hookup and send him away never to see him again.
We're dying for that type of Sex in the City brunch talk.
I know. I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it. So it is a whole new season. Welcome to season 2, listeners. We're so happy to have you here.
Did you miss us?
I did. First of all, Leela, what did we learn?
We learned that we should not take that long of a break, right? Is that what we learned?
We should not take breaks in January when I am sad and depressed.
Yeah, definitely. Next January, when you get divorced again, like, I would, like, put it off until later. You know what I mean?
Maybe we'll take a break. We talked about this, like a 2-week break, maybe in, like, July.
Yeah, that makes way more sense for us to do, like, something cute and fun versus just, like, wallowing when it's too cold to do anything in our houses depressively.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So this is season 2. When will season 2 end? When will season 3 start? We don't know. And neither do you, and it doesn't matter because the points are made up.
Yeah.
Wait, everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, and we don't have any boss. Tina's kind of our boss, but also, like,
In like a fun way.
she's not like a regular boss. She's a fun boss.
We are here today to talk about Twilight New Moon, the movie, a 2009 film starring Kirsten Stewart and Taylor Lautner. Kristen Stewart and Taylor Lautner.
And other people.
And other people, but mostly them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Where do we even begin? Okay, so I've told you guys about this problem before where I pull up the IMDb for a movie, but then it plays this little like preview of the movie the whole time, like on repeat, and I can't focus because Jacob's turning into a wolf right now.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Oh my God. Ew. Oh my God. Okay, it's so distracting. I'm gonna scroll down. So, Leela, where would you like to begin today, our discussion?
Wow. Well, let's see. Movie-wise, where did we end up last? Like, what's the last thing that happens in the first movie?
In the first movie, something about is it in the hospital? She, like, wakes up in the hospital and everything's okay? / she's gravely injured, but Edward is there.
Yes. Okay, so it has
Is that the
actually
last thing that happens?
nothing to do with the beginning of this book. So
Nothing.
Okay, so here we are again in the meadow. You know the one. The one where Eddie's had his tree tantrum It's,
Yeah.
you know,
The glitter
meadow.
The glitter meadow. Yeah.
So here we are. Oh my God, there's... Is that my gran across the way? I guess I'm Bella
Leela,
now.
you cannot start a synopsis, period, and you cannot start it like this either. You're not allowed.
Okay, well, what do you start then? How else do you start a thing about a conversation about a movie without synopsing a little bit?
For those who listened to our book episode, you'll know exactly what happens in this movie. And for those who didn't, I'll just remind you that this is the installment of the Twilight series where Edward at the beginning breaks up with Bella. She spends the entire film falling in love with Jacob Black, and then at the end is yanked away from the third almost kiss of the movie to go save Edward's life because he wants to kill himself because he thinks she killed herself because the framing mechanism of this movie is Romeo and Juliet. Oh my God, Bella, it's the big day. R&J reports due. Remember when Jessica said that?
R&J.
Okay, Becca, how do you feel about the Romeo and Juliet, like, idealization of suicide, like, framing mechanism for this whole film?
Big fan. Thumbs up from me.
Becca's a romantic, guys.
I just mean, we're looking at this movie and laughing, right? Like, or do you want me to be serious?
Yes,
I don't think that teenagers should kill themselves over their boyfriends or girlfriends.
True.
Sure.
But like, it sure is funny though.
When teenagers kill themselves.
No,
the framing mechanism. The framing mechanism.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess Edward does say how much of an idiot Romeo is at the beginning of the movie, and then he like almost kills himself without even verification that she is dead, which is exactly what Romeo does. So, but you know, in the sense of like watching cringy teenage stuff, like it's pretty perfect.
It is pretty perfect. Were you all obsessed with Romeo and Juliet in high school? Because I was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably the first Shakespeare I read. I think that
it's
as a school assignment.
Yeah, I'm a big Shakespeare fan. It's not my favorite one.
No.
But
same. But the Romeo plus Juliet came out in like 96, and that did kind of dominate my brain.
Yeah, we're going to see
in high
that
school. I was obsessed.
At our local theater the day after Valentine's Day.
Hell yeah. Oh my God. I'm all over it. Oh my God. Claire Danes and Romeo. What's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio is so beautiful.
Little baby
Let's
Leo.
cover that on the show.
Okay.
Let's cover that on the show, girl.
Sure. I love her wings outfit.
Yeah.
I know.
Iconic.
Oh my God. Now I'm looking at the IMDb peer review of Romeo plus Juliet, and it's distracting me.
Stop watching stuff.
Becca, you're the only one of us who took notes.
I'm very prepared. I feel very prepared today.
What's the top of your list?
Oh, I have categories in my notes. Okay. Listener, when my friends ask me to do something, I take it very seriously. And
that's what I like about
there's also something funny about taking something like this so seriously. Maybe it's just funny to me, but it made my day better. So we watched the movie initially 3 days ago, listener, but we were drunk, listener. We were drunk on a Sunday.
I love the way you
I was drunk. Listener,
I was drunk too.
I was drunk at 3 p.m. on a Sunday, okay? And
because I found myself doing that thing, because we rewatched it today, so I was doing that thing where like I was like, is Taylor Lautner from Canada? And I Googled it and I was like, no, he's from Michigan. And then I was like, I did this on Sunday.
Yeah.
It did
I
not
remember
stick.
because I was like, I think he's from Kansas. I don't know why I thought that. And then someone else was like, he's definitely from SoCal. But and then we watched it again right before this, and I have like 2.5 pages of notes. My notes categories are, and these just came to me, they just came to my heart.
Yeah.
My notes categories are ranking the Cullens because Tina asked me to do that, which was hard for me because
we'll get to that.
They're not. Most of them are not. Anyway,
most of them are bad.
Yeah.
And then overall likes, overall dislikes of the whole movie.
Okay, let's do overall likes of the movie.
Okay, you don't want to hear my other categories?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Read your other categories. And then we'll
other
go back.
categories are wolves versus vampires. We're talking lifestyle here, not specific ones. Wolves versus vampires. And then the subcategories are wolves likes, wolves dislikes, vampires likes, vampires dislikes. Then we have Jacob versus Edward. Same thing. Jacob likes and dislikes, Edward likes and dislikes. And then ranking the colds is at the bottom. Yeah. So those are my categories. Overall likes. Do you want me to just?
Let's go in a circle. You say one, and then we'll all say general likes about this movie.
The first bullet point is the scene where Edward is about to kill himself. Yep, I really like that part. He looks real good and sad, and I really like it when men are like really sad. So
I guess we should have started by asking, are you Team Edward or Team Jacob? I know the answer, which is why my tone of voice is like this.
Yeah, listener, I'm going to be fighting for my life this episode against these two girls. I'll get to the details later because I have a lot to say about this topic, but I'll just sum it up by saying I was a Team Jacob girl when I was like 13 and I read the books and I pretended to like the books. And now as an adult, I am a Team Edward. And that's the summary, and I'll get into more later. Okay. So one thing that I really liked about this movie is, and I'm being completely serious when I say this, just framing, Kristen?
Yes.
Okay, Kristen. I'm going to put a sticky note. We talk about her.
The beginning of your name.
The IMDb is right in front of me. It's so clearly right in front of me. Kristen Stewart has gotten much better at acting since the last movie. Okay. And what I mean by that is when she has a line to say, it almost 100% of the time, it comes out of her mouth, straight out of her mouth in one shot. In the first movie, we're making fun of her being like, a lot of the time. And in this movie, even when she's giving emotion, her lines just come right out. And I think that generally her facial expressions were more nuanced. Now, did she do a very good job? Is this a very good role? Is this a very good performance? No. But she did a lot better than the first movie. That's something that I like to see in this movie.
I agree. Because we were playing a drinking game. We had several rules flying about when we were watching this movie on Sunday.
And it was like Brute and Prosecco, y'all. We were drunk.
But like a fun drunk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, God, so fun. Just girls on a Sunday.
And one of the rules was like, drink every time Kristen Stewart can't get her words out. And there weren't that many times.
There was like 2?
Yeah. So I was like,
there's one I can think of, and I'm just going to give her one more.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What's something you liked, Leela?
For me, it's got to be like the entire anything to do with Jacob and the werewolves. I just love.
I was gonna say that too.
I love the it's raining men gayness of it all. Jorts in the woods with glistening bods. Definitely
Wrestling.
the Jacob walking through the rain with his shirt off.
Oh my God!
Was
you
my
cut
desktop
your hair and you got a tattoo.
Yes, and that was my desktop background for a good long time when that movie came out.
Oh my God!
And it just makes me feel like a horny teenager again.
Okay. Becca, what's something else you like?
Like number 2, when Edward shoves Jacob at the inn and Jacob goes all wolfy in midair flip.
Oh, that was good.
That was so
You have
good.
some specific details.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Okay. My next like is I'm running out of them quick. I like Charlie and his face, and when he says words, I'm like, oh, Charlie.
Yeah. He's so sexy.
Yeah, he's doing his best.
Yeah.
I like when I like it when Jacob says, "What a marshmallow!" stupid Taylor Lautner voice.
Yeah.
In his Canadian accent.
Yeah, it's. I was just saying, he's like a wimp. He's basically he's like a wimp, like a nerdy wimp, but he
a buffed
up, and it's we can see beneath the muscle, my guy.
Yeah. He doesn't have a hot boy je ne sais quoi, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, boys who got hot late are way better than boys who were hot all along because they had to build a personality.
Ugly duckling syndrome for sure.
Ugly duckling, love it. Whose turn is it? Is it your turn, Becca?
Yeah, I've got 2 more.
Okay, that sounds right.
The iconic possibility scene. There's a possibility.
Oh my God. It is so iconic.
All that I want to. Yeah. Iconic. I love that scene when they're spinning around her and it shows the months. I love it.
It's so good.
It's so good. And like, as a depressy girl, I just sometimes it really be like that.
Mhm.
In such a dumb movie, like sometimes it really be like that. I can't help it. Yes, even in sleep, nightmares. Maybe I'm not screaming like that because that's one of my dislikes is Bella's screaming in general. But yeah, when I was like 13, I was all like, ooh, that's so mood. And then, of course, I wasn't actually depressed, but then I grew up and it actually is mood.
Yeah, you had no idea how depressed you would grow to be.
And so it's kind of like comforting to watch. Like, I just like that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think that is like the secret is true depression is not sadness, it's like an emptiness. And like just her sitting there like vacantly, it's like
it's kind of probably bad that I don't know if it like romanticized it to young people, if that's what I was thinking at the time, but like
it's not even the worst
it's
thing
kind
that
of
these books
funny that like I'm watching it at my big age and I'm like, it really do be like that sometimes, guys.
Okay. My next like is Dakota Fanning's little a cunty face going pain. So good. I love that casting. She's such a bitch. I fucking love it.
Great.
Leela?
I really like it that when Bella hallucinates Edward when she's on a motorcycle, and so then she ramps her motorcycle like into a ditch and then falls down and is fine.
And then she's like, more motorcycle.
The way that she just like abruptly flies off that motorcycle is so funny. Everyone was screaming with laughter when that happened.
Yeah. Yep. All right, what's the last one, Becca?
My last one is like the soundtrack in general, which I also would say about the first movie. Definitely a fun soundtrack. It feels so right. Like it feels so precise for the time. Tom York, Death Cab, Bon Iver, St. Vincent, Muse, The Killers. Like,
it's iconic.
Did listen to all of that all the time when this movie came out, and like I still listen to Radiohead when I'm sad. Now I did it yesterday. Like that's when I thought I was sad when I was 13. You know, that's actually fun. But yeah, especially the two songs in a row, like the Tom York song when the wolves are chasing Victoria and she jumps off the cliff, and then the Death Cab song when Bella's in the water after she jumps off the cliff and she like sees Edward. Those are the two best in my opinion. Plus Possibility. That one's
so good. My final like is Angela and Eric being in like a solid, happy relationship. They're so cute.
Yeah, Eric's adorable. Yeah, Eric's very cute. I asked you, I was like, what's that guy's name when we were watching it?
Eric. That's cute. Eric.
He might have been like a Disney Channel or Nickelodeon guy. He kind of has that vibe to him, but I could be wrong.
Let's see. He does kind of have that vibe, but he would have played like the edgy character, you know?
Maybe. He just seems so sweet.
He's like alternative, though. No, everyone's sweet on Disney. No, he has been in nothing that I've ever seen.
Okay, great. Nope.
I just like that they're both happy because they're both nice people.
Yeah, it's good.
Leela, what's your final like?
I think my final like has got to be Bella. Where the hell have you been, Loca?
Oh my god. So before we rewatch this, Leela, I think maybe even in our book episode, you said that Taylor always says Bella. And I was like, what are you talking about? But then like watching it, you're like, oh my god. Okay, here's how I spell it. All capitals.
Oh yeah, screaming.
Ballagh. Bala, right?
He's so
like
nasal.
It's like a monster from Lord of the Rings.
Like, I don't know. I think it's like he has a cold, but it's just his voice. And I feel like maybe we didn't really get that vibe. We didn't pick up on that in the first movie because he barely has any lines. But
it's true. And also he doesn't do it when he's kind of like whispering, when they're having moments and he's like, Bella. He doesn't really do it. It's when he's projecting. Yeah. He's like, Bella.
I mean, and like big same, like I sound so much stupider when I'm screaming, like for sure. I do not have a good scream.
I think I have a great screaming voice. I do it all the time on this fucking podcast. Y'all know.
Yeah, you sure do. But yeah.
At least she's self-aware.
Is she, Becca? I famously thought that I could be an actress in high school, and I was in the Crucible, and I was one of the girls who was
one of the hysterical women.
Yeah,
classic
one of
Leela.
the bad girls who was like pretending that another
Pretend hysterical woman, classic Leela.
who was I was saying that like Goody Proctor's was a bird sending a bird on me and attacking me, and my line I believe was, "Its claws. It's hurting me with its claws." But I kept getting in trouble because I was supposed to scream it, and I sound like Kristen Wiig when I'm screaming. So it sounded more like, "His claws! He's getting me with his claws!" And everybody just kept laughing, and I was like, "I'm trying. That's just what I sound
No, guys, I'm serious.
Oh my God,
So serious.
So same Taylor
Okay.
Lautner.
Let's move on to our dislikes.
Okay.
Should have done these first, but maybe not because this is in the spirit of our show.
Yeah. All right, Becca, you first.
But wait, hold on. I
Okay.
want to do it. Hold on. Wait.
What?
Becca.
Oh, no.
Becca. Or the Hollywood Becca.
Okay. Overall dislikes. I already said Bella screaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 4 more after that. Or really
Okay,
one.
sounds good.
So I would
I
say
can
like,
definitely come up with 4.
overall, there's so little Robert Pattinson that
Okay.
is a dislike for me, and there's
Okay.
so much Taylor Lautner, and that is a dislike for me. Sorry.
Okay. So I'll to piggyback off of that, my dislike is the casting of Taylor Lautner, because while I think that for 2009 he was a pretty solid casting choice, he is not native. He's not Quilit. I do this every fucking time.
Because
Pronounce
it's
it.
like French, and we're not
Quilut.
good at French.
Okay,
Quilet?
he's not native. He's not Quilit. He's I think
He's
a
a
dark
spicy
white boy?
guy. He's a
I think
spicy
he's
white
spicy
boy.
white.
Yeah.
So I also think that like by today's standards, he's like really energetic in the right way, but I don't think he has that like fun, flirty, hot edge to him as convincingly as he does in the book, because he like totally does in his book. And like also, I'm looking at the cast right now with their like modern IMDb pictures, and I want to say that these days, I'm Team Kristen. She's fucking a total Betty these days.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Robert Pattinson, still extremely hot these days. Taylor Lautner looks like anyone's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like a pretty man. Like, I definitely thought he was the cutest thing for like a second there when the movie came out when I was younger. It's just his portrayal. It's the way he talks or something. I missed Rob Pat.
Leela, what's a dislike?
Yeah. I definitely will join the bandwagon here and say that the casting for Taylor Lautner, the casting for Jacob, I just also agree with that.
Let's underline it, because he is not the correct race. He is not the correct ethnicity.
Yeah, I think what was the worst part is, you know, when you love something so much, you're a silly teenage girl and you like something that silly teenage girls like, and so everyone already thinks that it's stupid, but you love it, and then you make your friends or watch it, or your dad watch it, or whoever watch it, and then it's like super embarrassing and you didn't even realize until they started making fun of the thing you loved. I think that happened to me with Taylor Lautner. Like I didn't even, you convince yourself that it's not a problem when you're silly and you know, and little, and then everyone's like, wow, how can you even deal with his voice? He's such a dweeb.
Yeah.
What a marshmallow, you know.
I will say, according to Wikipedia, a scholarly journal, says Lautner has Dutch, French, and German ancestry, and has stated that he has, quote, distant, unquote, Native American ancestry.
I mean, so does everyone's mom in this chat. You know, like, what is
through
that?
his
Is that
mother.
real?
Which, like, we've talked before, Leela, about, like, being a predominantly white person who, quote, has Native ancestry, about that usually being a product of, like, at worst, genocidal rape and like at best like an uncool power dynamic, you know?
Yeah. Or just a misunderstanding or an invention, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of times people come up with that when they see that they have a relative. Like, I had a relative who was definitely like had more olive kind of skin and darker features, and I feel like everyone just made up the fact that they were like, oh yeah, she's a quarter Cherokee, and then I get my 23andMe back and I am 0% any Native American.
My dad did the exact same thing.
Yeah. It's just white people desperate for some kind of spice or culture. I don't know.
Yeah. My dad was adopted, and for a long time he didn't, until he was like 60, he didn't know who his biological father was. And he used to say that I don't remember why, there was some like not evidence, but like some suggested evidence that led him to say, I'm a quarter gay Native American.
Yeah. Cool.
We thought his dad was a gay Native American. All right, Becca, what's your next dislike?
When Bella leaves Anna Kendrick's character alone on the mean streets of Forks, Washington. But again, that's like funny though.
It is funny. Technically, Port Angeles, not to be a bitch. It's their nearest big city. I hate that. That violates girl code. Like that. Yeah. Fucking hate that. My next dislike is the way that the movie like really heavy-handedly shoehorned Harry Clearwater in to the film, and like every time he was in a scene, Billy would say, "What's up, Harry?" or like, "You coming with, Harry?" They brought Harry along on official police business because we needed to know who Harry was so that when he died, we cared. It's just very annoying. So I don't like that. That was inelegantly done. Whereas in the book, he was just kind of like Charlie's best friend the whole time. And like he just kept coming up organically.
Did he? I feel like the movie put him in more than the book did.
The movie put him in like a really heavy-handed way because the books put him in like a subtle way.
Yeah. I think either way, obviously, it did not work. But
yeah,
you're right that the movie's way was worse. Because we kept being like, can he walk now? Oh, no, that's a different character.
Different character, yeah. All right. Your next dislike, Leela?
Yeah. I really don't like the way that they handled... I don't like the hallucination aspect of this.
Oh, yeah.
Of this narrative.
I'm glad you brought that
up. We've already talked in our book New Moon episode about how it is very frustrating because it's like a heavily used... It's just something that happens constantly throughout this plot. It's like what makes Bella do a lot of the things that she does. And there is no explanation for it, like, at all. And what the movie does, I guess, to try to make things a little less confusing is that it takes away the aspect of it just being an auditory hallucination. And it adds like a wispy ghost Edward.
Yeah. I think it was to like avoid confusion, but like...
Yeah.
I'm still pretty confused.
Yeah, the ghost was funny.
It was very funny and so confusing because, again, not to beat a dead Edward, but like
a dead word,
dead word. Like if it got used so much, and it's always like it's stuff that Edward would probably like actually have been saying to her, like, "Don't be stupid, don't be reckless, Bella. You promised me, blah blah blah." And so I was thinking as a young reader, oh, this must have been some way that Edward, maybe he's with Alice and they figured something out, and he's able to like communicate to her somehow, and he's still watching over her. Nope, it never happened. It was literally all in Bella's head.
It's just a straight up hallucination.
I wish when I'm being generous, and like I said, listener, you got to understand my context here. As I've said, a little depressy, also currently haunted. So that's the perspective I'm coming from, right? Let's all keep that in mind. But when I'm like watching that and I'm being generous and I want to be generous with the movie, I'm like, okay, so she's super, super depressed, and maybe not maybe, I know this to be true, you lose like memory. Your memory gets worse when you've been, I don't know, it wasn't that long, but if you struggle with like general depression for a very long time, it affects your memory. And when I'm trying to be generous with the movie, I'm like, oh, she's seeking that like adrenaline high because it must feel so good after being so depressed. And when she gets that adrenaline high, she like remembers Edward. Like those are memories. You can like see it in your mind. And then you're like, I want to see him again. I want to remember him. I don't want to forget. And so I feel like the movie could have gone that direction. And sure, maybe to an audience of like young teenagers, they needed to show him and play his voice. But they could have like, I don't know, if it was written well, they could have like explained how maybe it was chasing like the memories and not wanting to forget when you lose someone and you still love them or whatever.
Any explanation would have been better.
And also
than this.
like it would have been nice, not nice, but it would have been nice if she faced more consequences for her reckless behavior too. Like,
Yes.
I get the like, when I imagine it that way, I'm like, I get it. She doesn't want to forget him. She gets these like flashes of memories and then it feels so good for a second and like draws her out of her dull emptiness for a second. And so she's chasing that. It only lasts a second. It causes her to do reckless things. But there's always someone there to save her. Like a wolf or a vampire or like someone to save her. And so it's definitely, annoying. That's how I saw the visions.
Okay, I like that, and I would have liked it if they had said that.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, Becca. It's almost like, what if they had somehow shown almost just like flashbacks to make us think that it's more so like a memory, even if it is still like in wispy ghost form, but maybe it's like a flashback.
God knows, Edward Collins said, "You're so clumsy, don't do that dumb thing. I'm going to force you to not do this dumb thing," so many times in the first movie that we could have flashed back to.
And like you were saying, Lila, like, it isn't obvious to a young viewer that that's not something like supernatural. There's other supernatural things going on in this movie. So his little ghosty self could definitely be a supernatural phenomenon, like a ghost. But I think it's more just in her head, and that's like more compelling. And I wish they'd gone that direct. Yeah, they'd made that more clear.
I forgot that I had Wikipedia open to the Taylor Lautner page, and I just glanced up, and it's the beginning of a paragraph says he took his first karate class at the age of 6.
Do you think Taylor's mom or Taylor put that on there? I feel like it was Taylor.
I don't know. It's so cute. Hiya! Becca, what's your next dislike?
Just a tiny, tiny little thing. There's little scenes like this in every movie that are like so funnily bad. But when they show the vision of vampire Bella and Edward running through the woods, and she's in that.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
She's in that little.
She was in a Forever 21, Forever 21 dress.
Oh, so unnecessary. But that's it.
My final dislike, and this is kind of a like, but I dislike it. You guys have seen Twilight. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! What's happening when this happens? Maybe it's the pain. Maybe it's when Jane is doing pain on Edward, or maybe it's when Edward is being beaten up. But I so wish the listeners could see me. But when Bella, it's her only like word vomit type moment. She like grabs her whole body and is like, yeah, no, take me instead. And her like arms and face are so weirdly contorted. It is so unnatural. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I think that scene, I feel like I was distracted by the crazy faces that Robert Pattinson was making.
He was making a lot of crazy faces. I'm going to show you a picture though. Okay, wait. Fuck. Okay, just kidding. I thought it'd be really easy to Google. Okay, Bella weird face. No way nobody's talked about
Bella
this new moon finale. It's so funny. Oh god, whatever. Somebody out there knows what I mean. Becca, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
we just watched it.
We just watched it like an hour ago.
58 minutes ago.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's my final dislike. Right, Becca? Was that the end of your list?
Yeah.
Okay, Lila, what's your final dislike?
You sort of took mine, Becca, but I'm gonna just piggyback off it. Piggyback on right through the woods. I really, really don't like how the vision of Bella as a vampire is such a letdown, because in the books, like, I feel like it's they're supposed to be so flawless and beautiful, and you kind of like look the same, but like not really at all. Like you kind of like look like this hot, like, supermodel version of yourself.
Like the
Pretties.
Uglies pretty.
Yes,
like the
yes,
Pretties.
yes.
Oh my god, we're such good co-hosts.
But it was just Kristen Stewart with a Instagram filter.
A filter. She's already very beautiful, and they didn't make her uncanny in any way.
Yeah, it wasn't uncanny enough. So I really disliked that. Even watching it as a kid, I did not like that scene.
Yeah. Okay, well, those have been our likes and dislikes. Okay, well, here's this question. Did you like this movie?
Becca?
I would say yes, because I had fun watching it. You know,
Had fun watching it.
Yeah.
Yep. Leela, what about you?
I love this movie. It's my favorite, I think, out of all of them. I'll let you know.
How long has it been since you've watched the other three?
I think I just recently watched the last one. Like,
whoa!
I think I watched it this past summer.
Oh my god, that's like watching Deathly Hallows Part 2. No, it's not.
No. But that was also batch. I think they just get batch more and more crazy, which is very fun. More and more.
Yeah, in the next one, Jacob kisses Bella while Edward is like 10 feet away, and Edward's like, LOL, my toxic masculinity is gone. That's kind of funny to me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this because I think I just loved seeing more of Jacob because I loved his character so much in the books, and I loved seeing me some shirtless boys glistening in the woods.
16-year-old horny me is all over it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what should we talk about next? What's next on your list, Becca?
Next on my list is Wolves versus Vampires, and then an entire page on almost 2 pages on Jacob versus Edward. But I think that's like okay, because this movie is really a break from the vampire world to like tell us the little urban legendiness of the wolf world. And so
let's get into it.
The whole time you're either watching like as a Jacob fan thinking of, where's Edward, or you're watching as a Jacob fan being like, thank God this whole movie is about Jacob. So, so the Wolves versus Vampires section of my notes is just lifestyle. It's just, if I could choose one or the other, lifestyle, removed from the actors' portrayals.
Okay. Let's all say, but one at a time. So you go first.
This one, the lifestyle is more complicated for me than the personage, but I guess I land on team vampire.
Okay, for me, definitely werewolf lifestyle. I could totally live on like a commune, which they all just they probably sleep in their own houses, but they all just go eat Emily's food every day, and there's like such community. And they live, like, mostly outdoors. Like, I'm all about that. I fucking love that. So, for me, lifestyle, werewolf. Leela, what about you? Be honest.
Well, I don't like the coldness of the vampires' world and lifestyle. There's just
they don't feel cold, though. If you're a vampire, you don't feel cold.
Oh, but I mean, like, emotionally. Like, okay. I feel like the werewolf... I feel like there's more warmth, there's more community, there's more openness. Now, am I a camper or a glamper? I'm a glamper. So in that aspect, I guess
Are you a glamper?
Well, yeah, when I go camping, it's got to be like in something that has air conditioning. So yes.
Okay. So what we call that is staying in an Airbnb.
Well, I've stayed in like a camper thing that had air conditioning. It's not really important. But yeah, I guess if that's what we're talking about, then fine, vampire, but...
Because she needs AC.
I need AC. I need, like, nice things.
If you need nice things, you're a total vampire. I hate to break it to you. You can be with Alice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go to other aspects, because I don't want to talk about being a vampire anymore.
This one is more nuanced for me. Like, I have the likes and dislikes are even. Actually, there's more wolf likes on my list than there are vampire likes. Twice as many, actually. It's just and it's like our friend of the pod, Courtney, would say that Harry Potter houses. I'm a Raven Puff. Like I'm a Ravenclaw and then my secondary is Hufflepuff, right? And Courtney said something to me one time that was pretty funny and spot on. And she was like, you're team Jacob the same way you're a Hufflepuff. You like want to be and you like talk about the little ways that you are, but at the end of the day, you're a Ravenclaw bitch. Like at the end of the day, you're team Edward. And I'm like, you're right. And you're right, actually. Like, unfortunately, it's true. So,
and like these just are the conversations that like beautiful women in their late 20s, early 30s have with each other. You know, like this is just what we're talking about.
So in the mood of like coming on this pod and saying who I truly am, Team Edward, but wolf lifestyle, yeah. Okay, so under my wolf likes, I have warm. That's just the first bullet point. Warm.
Nothing beats warm.
No, point number 2 is community. Like, I do like that they have a sense of community and culture and like are close with each other. And
yes, and vampires specifically say that the Cullens are the largest group of vampires. I can't remember if it's in the country or the world, but like they do not hang out together.
Yeah, so they have like real community both within their wolfy selves and in their actual community. Outside of the wolfy self, like even the people in their community don't even like fully for sure know that the wolf morphing is even real, but they're still that close. Bullet point number 3, those men are more my type looks wise for sure. Point number 4, Billy Black is sexy. I think he's the sexiest person in these movies.
I think he's sexy too.
He's so sexy. And like Charlie is right up there with him, but Billy Black is a bit of me. That's a bit of me
Jacob
right there.
Needs a new mommy.
That would make me Bella. Oh wait, spoiler alert. Yeah, so Billy Black. And then last one on the wolf's life is they live a long time, but not forever.
Yeah.
Dislikes imprinting. Are we supposed to like that as if it's soulmate shit?
Oh, wait, that does come up in this. I was going to say, we're not talking imprinting yet.
Nah, that shit's dumb. Hate it.
It is like a total wolf thing, and there's a huge subgenre of, like, romance fantasy literature that's, like, very popular right now about, like, wolf.
Yeah, well, like I said, I can't like it the same way I don't believe in soulmates, so sorry.
I don't believe in soulmates, I'm with you, but what if they were real? And you could find them on the fucking reservation that you've been on your whole life.
And then another wolf dislike for me is, can I ride them while they're running fast? Like, can I hold onto the fur and ride them fast?
You could saddle one.
Okay, sure. Vampire you go ahead.
If you're my soulmate, I'm gonna put a saddle on you, and I'm gonna ride you into battle.
No matter what. Like, are you listening, Men of Tender? Like, just in general.
Wait, I'm changing my bio.
I would ride the wolf, and I would like that he was warm and fuzzy. That's speaking in wolf form and in human form. I like a warm-blooded, warm to the touch man with body hair. So
a warm to the touch man with body hair. There's nothing better.
So physically that sticks true to my 13-year-old self. But vampire likes, there's only 3 actually, lifestyle wise. 1, they can also run fast, but they can also climb fast and basically soar between the rooftops. And my biggest dream my entire life, like, has been to be able to fly. And all of the like fantastical dreams I had as a child were that I could fly. And people have different kinds of flying dreams. Some people jump off a tall building and soar like a sugar glider. Some people like flap their wings like a bird. My flying dreams were always that I would run really, really fast. I would run so fast and I would do little hops, and it would take me a long time, but eventually I would like catch on the air and I would be able to fly. But it was like tiring, and it didn't happen every time. Even in my dreams when I was like 10 years old, my flying dreams, I didn't always get up in the air. And so I feel like the vampires like running so fast and then jumping around flying it just speaks to me. Number 2, they're more comfortable to ride when they're running fast, backpack style.
I think that's conjecture.
Okay, this was written back before the jury confirmed that I could indeed ride the wolf. So scratch that one. Point number 2, they're rich. They're so rich.
Rich is like a big part of it.
They have a vacation home. They have an island. Like,
And we haven't talked about, because Stephanie Meyer would never dare talk about, like, the struggles of being part of a Native American tribe and living on a reservation and dealing with, like, the political and, like, socioeconomic struggles that come with that. Stephanie Meyer would never fucking touch that with a 10-foot pole, but they are, I'm sure, present for the werewolves.
Right. And I actually love that type of, like, topic and research. Listener, I used to be a history teacher, a Virginia history specifically, but that's not in the movie. So moving on.
So
vampire dislikes. There's some doozies here. Number one, high school on repeat. Why do they do that?
Why do they do that?
You don't need to do that. Do you know that there are ways to get out of
Agreed.
school, even if you look 18? There are ways to get out of school. Two, their only friends are their family, quote, quote, and I don't like all them. Like, they don't seem fun to hang out with. They don't seem like great conversationalists a lot of the time. And they don't have relationships outside of that. Like, they can't make friends. They can't. Yeah, no, I like spending time with my friends. I would be unhappy. 3, they all have power. So everyone you know / are allowed to be around has some kind of power over you. They can read your mind, or they can see your future, or they can cause you pain.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I would want Bella's power, which is, Tina says she's a nothing girl, but it's a defensive power. No one has power over her. So I don't like that. 4, they live forever, but there's a caveat here, which is that I would just get myself killed, so it's fine. Like, once I'm done, like, I'd live a long time. Don't get me wrong. I'm curious. I want to read, like, every book. I want to, like, go everywhere, and I want to see everything, and then I'm out. So
Okay.
I just get myself done. So
Do you have anything to add to those pros and cons lists? Because I think those are pretty comprehensive.
They were. I just want to say, your type is, werewolves with body hair. I don't believe there was one werewolf in human form in this entire flick that was not freshly waxed.
Oh God, yeah, their
Totally.
body, yeah, because there's
Water
that
slide.
because Sam's the oldest, so in my opinion, that means he's more likely to have gratuitous body hair.
Yeah.
And there's that shot of him when he picks up Bella off the forest floor, and so his chest is like predominant in the shot, and it is smooth. Speaking
of Sam and Emily, I actually put here in my notes that, like, in real life, okay, that's a silly thing to say, but the couple I would actually want to be would be Sam and Emily. As much as I'm going to say about Edward in a minute, listener, I would actually want to be like them. They seem to have a nice little life. Oh, ew, are they?
On her?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, never mind. No, because you know why? My crazy ass would be like, you didn't even choose me. This is fated. No, never mind.
That's how it works.
And he'd be like, you are insane. And I'd be like, yeah, and that's why vampires get me, and you just don't get me at the end of the day.
I think Sam's hot. His chest is always just like looming in the background of shots. He's the one where we get that like diving shot of him, like they're all cliff jumping, but he's the one where we get like a close up of him like diving. His cute little bod. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think anything further to add.
Yeah. I like that werewolves eat. I like eating a lot, and vampires don't eat.
Oh my goodness. Can I eat as a vampire? Like, am I allowed to eat?
I don't remember what he says. Yeah, I could check the book if I wanted to.
Well, it's not. Is it what we do in the shadows lore, where if you eat even one bite of a fry,
you projectile vomit
you know
blood?
What? If that is true, that single bullet point alone, which yes, I did just add into my notes, eat food. That single bullet point alone would put me on the wolf side. That's how much I love eating food.
I agree.
Let me see. So according to Reddit, they at some point in the book say they have to throw it back up because they can't digest it.
Ew.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
Oh.
Also, drinking alcohol.
Not eat forever.
Oh, and
yeah, I couldn't do that.
What about like doing drugs?
Yeah, I don't think
Damn,
they can
that
ingest
sucks.
anything.
What? But
Yeah, that
they
sucks.
ingest blood from a human who recently did drugs?
That's what we do in the
I know.
shadows lore.
Well, also the
man.
Cullens would never. Maybe hear me
Yeah.
out. Get a deer violently high.
that is Carlisle would never. That's also unethical.
Yeah, very.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
guys. My lifestyle choice is now 100% Wolf. I'm still Team Edward, but dang, that food thing really got me. I'm
I think Rob
Team Wolf
Pattinson
100%.
is so hot, but these movies do not do him right for me. Like
I agree.
him in these movies is not what I like. But I
He's
think
way
he's
hotter
so hot in
outside of these
general.
movies. Yeah, this movie is his low point. These movies are
Like
his low point.
and he hates them with all his heart.
But that makes me love him more. It's so funny.
It is really funny, and he is fabulously hot to this very day. He has a fun movie coming out this year called Mickey 17, I believe.
Mhm. I love everything he's been in since these movies. I love every
Same.
movie he's done.
Yeah.
I
Me
love
too, I
every
think.
interview I've ever seen with him. He's funny, and
Yeah, he's funny.
he's in good ass movies. Other than this,
Yup. What new actors did we bring in for this movie? Is it anyone? Is it like anyone? Oh, other than the Vulturi.
I mean, like Jacob's friends.
Is this the one where Rosalie's actor gets replaced? Or did I make that up?
think that is in Eclipse where Victoria's actor gets replaced.
Victoria's actor gets replaced.
Yeah, with Bryce Dallas Howard, if I remember
Oh, really?
correctly.
like
The
we
other
yeah.
ginger.
yeah.
there's only two. There's the Vulturi, and then there's like all of Jacob's friends. Those are the people who were cast in this movie. And I think that was like generally good. Michael Sheen as what's his name?
Mhm.
Arrow.
Yeah,
That's so fun.
that's
We
perfect.
love that.
It was great. Maybe like definitely one of the highlights of this movie.
Yeah.
Which he's barely in it, but he sure does light up
eats it
the
up.
screen when he is
eats
in
it up.
it.
We have Jamie Campbell-Bower as Caius. He doesn't do anything. I think he does more in later movies, but he's a pretty famous actor. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
No.
What did I see him in recently? Oh, he's in Stranger Things. I don't want to give a spoiler for Stranger
What
Things.
if people haven't seen Stranger Things, then you
It's the later seasons. I don't know. I don't want to.
okay.
Anyway, he's famous. And then obviously, like I mentioned, Dakota Fanning, quite a bit of fun, I think. And then all of the, oh my God, do I really have to look up how to pronounce this again? Quiute? Somebody help me. All of those people are new in this movie too, and I'm trying to see if any of them, just even one, are any of them native.
The cutest one ever was in the first movie. He was just in the background on the beach scene, and he was not in this movie, and I was sad.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Also, I love long hair on men.
Me too.
In real life,
When it works,
is
yeah.
100% my preference. Like, I mean, maybe not every single person, but like, yeah, I really, really like long hair on men. It's just that that was a bad wig.
God, we kind of drank, I think, every time there was a bad wig, and it was a lot of sips, and there's just not a solitary part to be seen on Jacob's wigs.
Oh God, yeah, the wigs are bad. The actor who plays Sam Yulee is, I think, Chaska Spencer, something like that, Chaske. And he actually has significant Native heritage. He is a Lakota Sioux. He is a member of the Sioux tribe. He also has Lakota, Nez Perce, Cherokee, Muskogee, and some white heritage as well. So he's probably the most Native person in these films.
Okay.
And he still is hot too, in case we care about that.
Of course we do.
Of course we do. Who else is there? I think both Billy and Harry give me native energy. Let's see how right I am. Yes. Gil Birmingham plays Billy Black, and he has Comanche ancestry. And then Graham Greene. These are some of the whitest names.
Graham Greene, Billy Black.
Graham Greene. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's check his heritage. We just like to know. Oh, no. Other Graham Greene. Graham Greene. This guy. Yes. He is, how how do I say this? Oswekin? Is it? I believe a Canadian tribe, which is why I've never heard it before.
Maybe Canadian native.
Yes, that is what I just said.
Oh.
So okay, that's really good that we have a lot more like native actors going on here. Although I wish that our leading native character was a native actor. Let's see. Do we want to go more into Edward versus Jacob, or like, do we feel like we've
hell yeah, because
okay,
because this is important. No, because
go ahead, girl.
I separated my thoughts into like quote unquote objective versus not objective. Of course, you can't actually ask me to be objective about the book only. I was a little worried you guys were going to be like book only. Well, no, you did that episode already.
It's the movie episode.
Yeah, it's the movie episode. It's like, well, you know, my love for Edward is like definitely influenced by my love for Robert Pattinson. That has also developed over time to now to where I really love Robert Pattinson. But like, you know, that's fine. Yeah, I want to go into it. Do you guys want to go into it? You want me to start?
We've been in.
I feel like
you start
it's too
because
against
No, well, we talked about it a lot in our book episode too. So you just go ahead, girl.
Oh, okay.
We'll weigh in.
Okay, Oh, it's gonna be a block of me talking. All right.
No, there's no way.
Well, like I said, listener, I was Team Jacob when I was 13 and I read the books and I pretended to like the books. I was trying to fit in, you know. And so I read the books and I liked Jacob. And now I'm Team Edward. And I wouldn't say like that I have a type physically necessarily, but I would say that if you look at the data, if you look at the trends over time, there is a pattern that kind of, there's one category of person that I don't typically find myself looking at twice, and that would be the pale cis man. However,
sure,
there are exceptions to patterns, and Robert Pattinson is that exception. And it's kind of like, again, like friend of the pod Courtney said, I have many, many reasons for like, you'd think I'd be Team Jacob, but the heart wants what the heart wants. And that's what it comes down to. You know, Bella, it sure would have been easier if she loved Jacob. It would have been easier on Charlie. It would have been easier on her life, her family, everything. But she just loves Edward, and it just be like that sometimes. And it like would be so nice to be able to control who you love. Not me taking this movie incredibly seriously.
Do it, girl.
But
we're here for
I mean, like, it would be nice. It would be definitely easier if you could just like, what did Charlie say? He said like, you need to learn to love the things that are good for you. I think that's what he said. Like, you need to love the things that are good for you. And I'm like, I get that perspective from her father, her mother, like her friend, everyone around her would want her to love Jacob. And honestly, I would want to too, but you just can't. You just can't control it. Wouldn't it be nice? But yeah, I just like Jacob and Bella as friends. I feel like he's only briefly her friend. Like, it's really only like during half of this movie that he's like actually her friend. And then, you know, he likes spending time with her. He helps her feel more normal when she's depressed. They are like good to each other. They support each other. He wants her to live like a normal life. And also, he's the only friend Bella ever gives a shit about. Like,
so true.
She treats everyone else like she abandons every other relationship that she could potentially have,
like gleefully,
for her boyfriend. And then she only makes one exception, and it's for this person who could be her great friend, but like actually he likes her. So she sucks, but that's more negative on her than it is like positive on Jacob. But I do like them as friends. The romance like ruins it. It pisses me off. It never gets resolved by like him moving on or getting over her. It just gets resolved by the bullshit imprinting. Like, oh, it was your ovaries that I loved all along, you know. So it's annoying
because like in Mormonism, everyone has their like true match, you know. I guess. Don't forget that everything is Mormon.
It's also like kind of giving like a person's a person no matter how small, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
you were in love with my unborn,
Yeah.
unfertilized
Yeah.
egg.
fuck the mother.
Yeah, like she,
Well, don't fuck
the
the mother. Fuck the
child
baby,
like
you know what I mean?
existed, God had created her all along, always had existed, always will, that kind of thing. Yeah, I do see that. That's
Creepy.
interesting. But I hate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I grew up in the church. Maybe that's why. But also, like, it also pisses me off. One, that, yeah, the romance simultaneously, like, ruins it. But also, it pisses me off that they never fuck. Like, I definitely would have fucked him. Are you joking?
They don't
like,
kiss, like their
she
face.
doesn't
They
even
have
kiss
3
him.
almost kisses. And when I say almost kiss, I mean there's one where their lips touch.
yeah, I mean, he's in her bedroom. She's depressed as hell. He's warm.
Oh, he's
and
not
he's
wearing a
into
shirt.
her. And I'm like, okay, one, I love fucking my friends, so there's that. But 2, like,
Same. Big
he's
same,
eager,
girl.
he's pretty, and she's in her dark place. The fact that she didn't fuck him is crazy. But
That's who among us has the self-control?
nah. Then we go into Jacob's dislikes. He complains and he whines. And he's about to go through puberty, which he literally is, because his wolf morphingness is like second puberty.
Wolf puberty.
And
Which, by the way, that
he
goes so much shorter in the book. In the movie, that goes so much shorter
Yeah,
in the
it was
book.
quick.
I feel like 200 pages.
I like the scene, like Leo said, the scene where they go to the like wolf boys and she's like, run. And he like turns into the wolf. Like, I like it and I get it. And if you are going through puberty, your emotions are all over the place and crazy, but it's annoying. It's annoying me. I think like Taylor Lautner's portrayal is just like inseparable from this ick for me. Like, he just gives me the
I
ick.
understand.
Yeah. And then I know I wrote this in italics. Tina will make a point about him having an outlet for his anger. And I would say, you've said that before, where like you like that he has like an outlet for anger. Like when he's angry, he turns into the wolf, right?
Okay.
And it's like controlled and contained.
Versus
Maybe
like,
have you not said that on the air last episode? Maybe it's been a while since
I
this last
might
episode.
have.
You said this in person, and I get that, but I disagree. I feel like his outlet of turning into the wolf like has nothing to do with his own will. It's a condition that he inherited, and when he's angry, he turns into a wolf, and that's dope. And like as he gets older, he'll learn to control it and be more like Sam and like have it under control. But Edward's condition is permanent and has been around for 100 years, and like he controls himself all the time. Not drinking.
He doesn't.
He doesn't ever drink Bella's blood except for when he's...
Okay, so he controls himself from drinking her blood. He doesn't control himself from expressing his anger in unhealthy ways.
Oh, definitely don't let your daughters like Edward when they're young, or the way that he sneaks into her bedroom and watches her sleep and all that stuff. But I just meant like I just meant their supernatural other halves taking over. Edward keeps his at bay by force of will and by like his...
But I think the difference is that like I don't like that, because what that is saying is that there is value in like I can't divorce that with the Mormonism of it all, because what it is saying is there is value in rejecting your impulses and desires, and like I don't like that. It's not like I wish he was like a vile bloodsucker, but like maybe I do. Like maybe I don't like that they're like, we're better than all the other vampires because like we don't suck blood.
I see
like,
that.
Go be a vampire. The total like parallel to abstinence is a very good point. I didn't even think of that. I was thinking of it more like his moral belief of that turning people into vampires is wrong, unless like, you know, when she's dying from blood loss and he gives in later. But I was thinking of it more like he has this moral code that he doesn't want to do that to someone else, and so he just doesn't, whereas like other vampires do. So I was thinking of it like he has a belief and he sticks to it, which I find to be cool. But then when you draw the parallel to abstinence, that gets a little
repression.
I'm with you. He does have beliefs and he sticks to them, but I think with Bella specifically, it gets into the abstinence allegory.
Definitely.
And like Stephanie Meyer being so overtly Mormon, and also like in this movie, I mean, the whole time I'm watching these days, it gets more Mormon for me. Like every time I look at Twilight, And the whole movie, Bella is like looking up. She's looking at Jacob. She's laughing. She's like engaging with her life. She's like being aware. She's like making her own choices for better or for worse. And the second she reunites with Edward in Volterra, her gaze literally turns to the ground. And she holds his hand and follows him. I was like, oh my God. What was the direction for this scene? Like, what is Kristen like doing here? Like, what is the angle? Because it is giving demure Mormon wife. Like, it truly is.
Well, and
So
I mean,
true.
we talked about that more on our last episode, but we talk about like who Bella is. And first of all, I mean, like, I don't think anyone on this call is a Bella fan, but like in general, she, like you said, Tina, is a healthier person. She's herself. She's living her life when she's not with Edward. Something about that dynamic just makes her shrink. And I get really grossed out when I see women that just have this natural tendency to shrink and become smaller and make space for the men in their lives.
It's like, have you seen, there's like this post that goes around the internet, and I say that this is how I act with Brooke, where it's like, when I'm with my man, I'm not using a single brain cell. And it's like a joke. It's a joke, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But for Bella, it's like kind of completely real.
Yeah. And it's not really I don't even think it's like, in like a hot consensual dommy way or anything like that.
No, we talked about this at length in our Twilight book episode about how this is a daddy dom little girl relationship with an adult and a minor. Well, okay, no, sorry. She is barely 18 without any conversation or consent about it. Like, it literally is a DDLG relationship.
Do you guys feel like she uses any brain cells when she's around Jacob? I mean, she just sits there while he fixes bikes.
I'm not saying she makes good choices, but she does make choices. Like, she makes a lot of choices in this book when Edward is not around. Like, they're bad choices, but she's making them.
Like jumping off a cliff and stuff? Like, what are you talking about?
Yes. Like jumping off a cliff. She does that because she like wants to. The stuff she does when Edward is around is not because she wants to.
Yeah, when Edward's around, she's just obsessed with him. And honestly, I mean, also, when he's not around, she's obsessed with him.
So true.
So not great either way. But I mean, I just feel like you can almost see like the color fade from her personality when he comes towards her.
Like she's like this whole person who's like going through a great loss and like trying to come out on the other side and like fighting against herself like every day and trying to like form new friendships and new relationships. And when she is around Edward, she just becomes like something that exists in relation to him.
Oh, I think she is that all the time. Didn't we were saying earlier about how she doesn't take a single opportunity to form a real relationship. When he leaves, she just yearns for him and pines for him, and she lets Jacob be her friend and goes to his house and like stuff like that, but he like likes her, so it's different. And like I feel like that personality that you described, if that even is a personality, is her all the time. And so anything good I say about Edward is not something good about Bella. But
I feel you. It's true that she like definitely rejects friendships. Like she's on like a path though. Like there's that scene where she like starts hanging out with her friends again. She like sits at their table in the cafeteria, and like maybe that would have grown into some other stuff if she had had the time. And she also like right at the end there, she gets exposed to Jacob's community, and I think that she would have been able to form some more lasting friendships there as well, but now she won't get to because of Edward and her like blind alignment with his family. It's nuanced, you know. I think,
and she'll be like
there's
a
good
Mormon
arguments for both.
trad wife and like literally not be able to have any other relationships because they're vampires, so they can't like tell everyone they're vampires, so they have to move around and hide and this and that, and just like raise their perfect daughter. And like the perfect daughter has a soulmate from the beginning, someone she's arranged to be with, and the like turning her into a vampire only after the loss of the virginity and the impregnation is like so purity culture shit. I agree with all of that, and I feel as if I am now nervous to say all of my Edward likes because they're so superficial. Like,
Well, go ahead.
we're talking about serious stuff, and my reasons for being Team Edward are not serious at all. They're all
Tell
like
us.
self-deprecating, and now I'm embarrassed.
It's okay.
Girl, there is no embarrassment on this show.
All right.
One time, Leela forgot that December was a month. Okay, come on.
It was kind of recent. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just I don't give a shit, so I'll expose myself, and the listeners won't judge me.
Do it.
And yeah, it's all in good fun. Okay, Edward likes his bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a nice big open bedroom.
They're rich. The vacation house. He's a reader. He plays piano.
He's a runner. He's a track star.
I told you these are all self-deprecating against me and what I actually tend to like. He's a sad boy, like I said at the beginning. I really like it when men are like really, really sad.
I love it when
I'm like, if
cry.
I must love a man, which unfortunately I have in the past,
We've all
I do
been
like
there.
it when they're sad, and kind of hate it when they're not. No, I'm just kidding. Next bullet point is yearning. So much yearning. Imagine the sex after all of that yearning. Okay.
Oh,
Imagine
my
the makeup sex.
God.
And again, this is
I'm sold.
hypothetical because they are not having sex because of all
Horny
the fucked
bitch.
up churchy stuff we've already been talking about, listener. But imagine the sex after all that yearning. Imagine the sex after
he's
they get
good at it.
reunited after the breakup. Don't know if
What
y'all
if he
ever been
sucks
back
at
with
it?
an ex, but
Not like that.
he doesn't suck at it. He's had 100 years to think about it.
No, he hasn't been fucking the 100 years.
No, I said think about it. I said to think about it.
to
I mean,
think about
okay, but like
it.
every teenage boy thinks about sex constantly, and that doesn't make them good at it.
Well, they have forever to get good at it. How about that?
To imagine.
The next bullet point is just a list of possessions: record player, record collection, CD collection, book collection. I like a collector like that. Every man I've ever loved has been like that, like a writer, musician, poet, likes classic literature, especially Shakespeare. As we talked about at the beginning, this whole thing is Romeo and Juliet. Unfortunately, I like that he could quote Shakespeare.
Okay, in order to be like an artist, a lover, a poet, and rich, you do have to be a vampire.
And it's because they have so much time. Like, that boy's just been sad and reading books for 100 years. That's exactly
Becca,
my type, if I'm going to be honest.
it is your time.
It is. And see, now
It
you know.
really
I know.
is.
And again, like, this is exactly what Courtney meant when she was like, you wish you loved Jacob, but you love Edward. I'm like, because when you put it that way, that he's just been sad and reading for 100 years and like listening to fucking Radiohead for 100 years. Yeah, that's my type.
I want a boy who runs around in the woods.
That's my type. Yeah. And then, also runs around in the woods. Okay.
No, I'm talking about Jacob, but that's fine.
They're both
they all
woodsmen.
run around in the woods. They live in Washington.
It's different.
Okay. Next bullet point is that he says no to Bella and puts his foot down about changing her. Which I said I put in here doesn't manipulate her, but based on our last conversation, there's definitely more in there than that. It's not that simple, but I'd be like, change me into a vampire, please change me into a vampire. And then he'd be like, no, it's against my beliefs. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And I
did.
That's kind of sexy.
I did have a guy. I did have a guy on Tinder today ask me what I like, and I said I like a man with a firm hand. That's been my go-to lately.
I mean, think of I'm exposing myself, listener. But like, think of the yearning and the begging and the. Yeah. All right. Next bullet point. I think I would have more fun with him, especially sex.
Especially sex.
And I know we've talked about him being cold. Yes. In real life,
Yes.
historically, I like the warm-blooded, space heatery, fiery guys. But I like having sex when I'm cold. Okay? I feel sexier.
Oh no.
My nips are hard. My hair is not frizzy. I'm not sweaty. I love having sex when there's a chill in the air, okay? And there is a chill in the air and also a literal ghost in the air in my bedroom. And it, it's sad and scary and I can't sleep, but it also, whatever. My nips are hard and that's nice. So that's another bullet point. I feel like I would like that. And then the next bullet point is leaving me only to protect me from himself.
Becca,
that's a very manipulative, toxic behavior.
So stupid, I know.
Oh,
that's so
my God.
stupid. And then obsessed with me. I do like that. Scary and mean to everyone except me. Like, I love a man who's like scary and mean to everyone except me. I'm special, and he's a little baby around me, and he cries, but only around me. Like, I like that. And I'm sorry, I can't say it's good or healthy, but yeah, he literally says, "You're my only reason to stay alive." I have had someone say that to me before, and
oh my God, there's nothing I want less.
I'm just kidding.
My God.
No, guys, I'm just kidding. Listener, I'm kidding, because obviously I'm smarter than that, and I don't know if it's obvious. It's probably not obvious based on this episode. But no, like, in the sense that you already know the person and their psyche very well, and you know that they're not actually hinging on you. Like, when, little teenagers are like, if you ever leave me, I'll die without you. You can't, like, obviously, no, that's number one textbook manipulation. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And something that very often teenagers do say. So that's really fucked up. But just in the general sense of, like, they're obsessed with me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. They're like crazy. And again, like, this is speaking to where my brain is at this point in my life, which is a haunted kind of dark time. But I do think that, like, their connection is more what I crave in the dark times. I'm like, oh, it's just like, oh, we're obsessed. Edward dislikes. Obviously, don't let your daughters think that it's okay for someone to go into your room at night and watch you sleep.
All right, Becca, I'm actually going to stop you right there.
That's it.
I think we've covered...
That's it.
Okay.
Don't let your daughters
I was going to
completely
say, that's
abandon...
like cover the Edward dislikes.
That's it. That's it. That's all. Don't let your daughters abandon other relationships, and that's it.
Okay.
It's so true.
I feel
it's so
like
true.
Now we should just do our ratings
Okay.
Of our Cullens,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. I'm ready with my Cullen. Well, I'm glad that you told us all that,
Are
Becca,
you?
because
I'm embarrassed. I'm blushing because I feel like I yapped for a long time, and
you did, but it's good because we've yapped for like 3 episodes about how much we don't like Edward. So it's good for him to have some balance.
Get some perspective, yeah.
Especially some adult perspective. I think the difference is like a 30-year-old woman like walking willfully into a relationship like this versus like a teenager being manipulated into a relationship like this.
No, and this is not a real relationship. It's mostly
Okay, Leela, what's your Cullen ranking? If like, and I just said that drunk on Sunday, so like, it's each to your interpretation.
Yeah. So
like in love with, or like want to fuck, or just friends with. What did you?
Okay. So we've got 7 Cullens. I kind of just you'll see. Okay. So I guess I'll start. Should I like
start
go
at the
from
bottom,
like worst to okay?
Yeah, worst to best.
Okay, from at worst. I'm so sorry, Becca. I did list Edward as my least favorite Cullen. For why I said boo this man and what he did to a generation of girls.
Okay.
Sorry, Becca. Okay. And then at number 6, I've got Esme, non-character whose power is being a mom, plus 1 point for being a girl.
Yep.
That's what we got for her. Okay. 3.5 points each. I don't know what the scale is for Jasper and Rosalie are tied. Okay, for Jasper, I rated him thusly because I feel he is a misunderstood little baby face who's obsessed with his wifey. Love that about him. -1 for being a racist.
Sure.
For Rosalie, I also...
Just one.
Probably
just
more
one.
than that. Rosalie, I rated her a 3.5 as well. So pretty and mean. She scares me, but I'd tap that. Also, I'd lick that marble puss. 3, Emmett. I trust him and he's cute. 2, 2, Carlisle, I simply wrote, I trust him. And
She
then
trusts him.
number 1, I said Alice. She is the kid Cullen with the most agency aside from Edward. She's also so cute and apparently a good friend. So those are my Cullens.
Okay. Here's my ranking. Bottom of the barrel, Jasper. Fought for the Confederacy, cannot be forgiven. No one could ever, ever, ever go lower than him because he fought for the Confederacy. He would have been higher on my list because I thought he was hot in the books. Next, I have Esme, non-character, doing nothing.
Yeah.
She's a mom, also not hot enough. Sorry. Next on my list is Alice, not my type. Found her kind of annoying.
How dare you?
Next is Edward, abusive but hot. Next is Carlisle, not abusive, still hot to me. I love a blonde man who calms the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Second on my list is Rosalie. I had to think about this really, really hard because you know I love a cunty blonde and I am so obsessed with Rosalie, but as you know, I've been weirdly into dudes lately. So top of my list is Emmett Cullen.
Oh my
That's
God.
my monkey man.
Wait, you're missing some Cullens.
Who?
Edward?
I said Edward. He's halfway through.
Oh. I think
Hot,
I got
but I don't like him.
I must have got distracted by your very cute cats. That's fair.
Okay, Becca, your turn.
Bottom of the list, Jasper. You in all the ways.
Yep.
You in Confederate soldier, you in personality, you in looks. Hate him. 6, Esme. Who is that? Doesn't talk. 5, Rosalie. Not into her personality. Sorry. Then there's a gap. It gets a little better. And in 4th place, which I really shuffled with 3rd place, is Emmett. He's hot. Probably fun, but I'd probably hate him a lot. 3rd place, Carlisle. Demeanor only. Personality only. I am not physically attracted to that man. I hate that he's blonde. But I like that he's calm and smart and yeah, good personality. 2nd place, Alice. She's spunky. Then there's a big gap. And then in 1st place is Edward.
Classic.
Sorry.
Classic.
I think also he did not have an effect on me when I was young. This book had no influence on me over when I was young. So maybe that's why I'm Team Edward now, because he did not damage my psyche. Stephanie Meyer had no influence on me when I was young. And now I'm Team Edward. Bye. Sorry.
All right, Layla, bring us home.
Okay. All right. We're going to play Horny Sad or Just Plain Bad. New Moon Edition. Becca, is New Moon the movie horny? Is it sad or is it just plain bad?
Sad with a heaping spoonful of horny.
Leela, what do you think?
I'm going to say horny with a heaping teaspoon of just plain bad. And Tina, what do you think?
I'm going horny, man. Maybe it's just because
horn?
if I were Bella, I would have made out with Jacob so hard. I'm going horny. Horny all the way home.
A full horn from Tina. We're
You know
all
me.
shooketh.
It's in my I'm in my horny era.
Yeah. Yeah, Era, you're not just always horny.
Well,
It's fine.
more now than ever.
Yeah.
Becca, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was an absolute delight to talk about New Moon, the film.
Thanks. I hope you'll have me back someday.
I will. I also forgot to say that I looked up the trivia for this movie earlier, and there wasn't very much, except for that the premiere was on a new moon day. You know, like a new moon when the moon was new.
Very clever.
All right, that's it for Burn Before Reading.
Until next week, remember,
Your cringe is part of you.
but think of all the possibilities. Thanks for listening to Burn Before Reading.
Created by me, Christina Kahn.
Hosted and produced by Christina Kahn and me, Leela Hilton.
Logo designed by Michael Hardison. Follow him on Instagram at RoyGBivRVA or check out his work at wildlingpress.com.
Theme music by Sakura Wishes.
Find me online at Christina Kahn.
And find me at Leals for Reals.
Follow the podcast on Instagram and Tumblr at BurnBeforePod.
Or feel free to give us an email at burnbeforepod@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, friends.
See you next time.
Dave X Media.